Elon has made it known that any House or Senate Republican who defies Trump on a key vote, cabinet nominees, the CR, that kind of thing, he will dump $50 to $100 million into a primary. It's no money at all for him. It's lethal for them, right? This is well known. He has said this like personally to some of them, right? It's been well reported. This is probably why Jody Ernst voted for Pete Hegseth. Well, what's achieved by this? I think it's like an interesting question because Republicans in theory are allied to Donald Trump, right? He's the nominee of their party and they don't have like literally the same view of him. But I think you might say from one perspective, there is a value in the system in there being checks and balances. There's a value in the system having to absorb other kinds of information. Now, we already don't have the checks and balances we once had or thought we would have in this country because we have nationalized political parties instead of, branches of government that sort of compete, with ambition checking ambition. And I've done whole shows on this and we can talk about that if we want. But we do have political parties. And political parties are themselves institutions that aggregate different kinds of information in order to try to come to some outcome that is a better outcome because more information is surfaced. I think Donald Trump would be in a stronger position for him if Senate Republicans could have done what they actually wanted to do and not confirm RFK Jr., not confirm Tulsi Gabbard, not confirm Pete Hegseth, not confirm Kash Patel and Don Bongino, right? That's actually a huge amount of risk the Trump administration has taken on. If they had named a sort of normal figure to HHS, and then there's a measles outbreak, well, measles outbreaks are tough. Like, that's a hard thing. If you name RFK Jr. and there's a huge measles outbreak, you're really going to get blamed for that because people are ready to blame you. If there is a domestic terror attack after you've put Kash Patel, who's quite unqualified, in charge of the FBI, and they've sort of launched a war internally against the FBI, which they see as a hotbed of anti-Trump sentiment, and the FBI in the sort of internal chaos misses some things and you have deaths on American soil, that's a huge amount of risk you've taken on. I mean, the guy they fired, Chris Wray, he was Trump's appointee. It wasn't some Democrat. Trump named him in his first term. But Elon, right, what he did here was he created a kind of Death Star of primary money. And he has said that, like, if you cross Trump in Congress, even as a Republican, you're done. Like, between Trump's control of attention and loyalty and my ability to outspend you, like, you're toast. I think what that reveals is that what he wants is for power to be centralized under Trump. We've been talking about the bureaucracy, but he also wants it to be true in Congress. I am not a Donald Trump fan, but obviously other people are Donald Trump fans, right? Obviously, I think at this point, Elon Musk is a Donald Trump fan, but much of the country thinks this guy is great. And I think we should take what they are doing at word and deed. The point of Donald Trump is that Donald Trump is right about things. We should give him power and he should use that power. My sense is you have some mixed feelings about him, but not everybody does. And this sort of very consistent application of authority across the people he's named. J.D. Vance, the difference between Mike Pence and J.D. Vance is J.D. Vance said explicitly in the whole run-up to the vice presidential sweepstakes that his view of what went wrong in the first administration is between the bureaucracy and the staff, too many people were trying to inhibit Donald Trump. And that what he would do is tell Trump that, like, he's got to get rid of these generals and he's got to get people who will do what Trump actually said. The view of Trump's fans, the view of his allies, is that the first term didn't go well enough because they had too much opposition from Republicans in Congress who talked Trump into things they shouldn't have talked him into, and too much opposition from the civil service and even from Trump's own staff. I think a very simple heuristic of why these terms are so different is that the most important member of the Trump family, Trump aside, in the first term was Jared Kushner and maybe Ivanka. And the most important member of the family in the second is Don Trump Jr., right? Kushner brought in a bunch of inhibitors. He brought in mainstream figures like Gary Cohn and Kushner represented other parts of society that, were sort of mixed on Trump and they wanted him to do certain things and not others. And there was maybe a productive tension. McConnell, was majority leader. He was more powerful than Thune is. Paul Ryan was speaker. He's more powerful than Mike Johnson is. In the second term, you have Don Trump Jr., who brings in much more right-wing figures, they're accelerators, not inhibitors, accelerationists in many cases explicitly. You have Elon Musk, who believes like the likeliest problem is Trump doesn't go far enough, fast enough. And you have a weak Republican Congress that is further cowed by Musk's money. It could be good or it could be bad, but the Curtis Yarvin take that we need a more monarch-like figure is clearly being tested out. Like the view, just as you said, about software engineering things is that you often need a benevolent dictator. Now, I don't think Trump is benevolent. Other people do. But the view that what is being attempted here is something much more centralized in its power, I think is actually a shared view of what's going on. It's like a consensus reality we have, not like an argument over reality we're having.